Welcome back from that break, and this is still the Press on KAFTAN Television. Well, right now I've been joined by someone you know not so familiar to your screen or in the studio to analyze some of these headlines that made it to the national dailies. And joining me this morning is Okechukwu Onugbogu, who is a journalist. You're highly welcome.
Thank you so much.
Glad to have you. I hope it wasn't too difficult to get into the studio this morning
definitely.
because we woke up seeing the rain with drizzle of rain and the rest of it, which delayed
a lot of things.
Exactly. So I was already discussing about the flood that happened in Maiduguri and some other parts of the country before you joined me in the studio. And I want to repeat the particular question which I asked my viewers. I said, why must the federal government have to wait until rainy season to start running haters scatter?
For this matter that has to do with the flood.
Yes.
Yeah, really. In fact, this running of helter skelter has been on for so many years. That is not just this year. Okay. Just as you said, why must it be so? In actual fact, these fellows that have been checking all these things, the NIMET and all of them have been saying so many things. Okay. And in actual fact, the last one was that they were saying that there is no cause for alarm, that the dams are all in order, everything is okay. Until this last one that just happened, you know, then that's the one that they said that they don't know why it should be. Incidentally, now that Cameroon has also released their own dam, of course, they have warned that there will be trouble in about
11 states.
11 states.
Yes.
And I sent to some others that have been there before now, they said 18. So we're looking at it, you know, just as you asked, why should it be so? I've always said these building of dams could be done, or even expansion, because when we have a dam, it could also be expanded. Okay. If the ones we have are not large enough to take all these things, nothing stops the nation from doing an expansion or doing what is called phase 2 of the same dam project. Okay. That is, by the side of that main dam, there's another one where the first one can enter into and help, empty into rather, and help reduce the flow. But I don't know what is happening. Incidentally, in this country, a lot will be budgeted for, and nothing comes out of it. Nothing comes out of whatever that has been budgeted for.
And now let me ask, according to the Cameroon government, they have recently warned that 11 more states will be affected. That's an addition to the ones that has been affected before now. And before now, I have seen some of the lawmakers sponsor this bill. I know about Senator Ojuzokalu, who said it was still on this dam issue, where he said that Nigerian government is good as using 99% to discuss about the problem and just use 1% to talk about the solution. Now, my question is, this is not, we are aware of the two major seasons, which is the rainy season and the dry season. Now, the government will have to, you know, sit back and not address these issues until the rainy season. Look at about, according to the Daily Sun, it was reported that 1.6 million were affected and 634,000 displaced and 94,741 houses destroyed. Now, this is dragging the economy, which is trying to struggle, which has been struggling or trying to survive back to maybe square, whatever. I don't know the exact squares, but what do you think the federal government should do to prevent this from happening? Because they say prevention is better than cure, and that's what I think.
Yes, and not only what they should do, but then what they should start immediately to do, because there is no more time. Okay. When they have given this thing, what they're telling you, within the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you start seeing these things happen. I wonder if there is, well, there are things that had been advocated long ago but seem to have been dropped. They are referred to as gutters, and in a simpler word, it is a kind of a big hole that will be dug in some areas along the route through which these waters will flow, so that when they get there, they would be absorbed in there. And the space we're talking about is not just, is what can take buildings. It's not just a little space, because they call it gutters. It's deep, something that will be very deep and will be able to take care of these things. That is about the only thing that can be done now. The rest of the things that should be done will be after the rains, because definitely they are here. And the other thing that should be done again is to help all those people in those communities along the routes that they've just mentioned in the states, to start relocating right now that there is still space. Now that there is still time to think, let them start relocating to other areas so that they'll be able to safeguard something. As for farm produce, let them harvest as much as they can, and the ones that can't be harvested, they should forget about those ones. But the fact is, move your life, move property, move as much as you can within this period, because as for coming, it's imminent.
All right, let's talk about the EDO poll. Of course, it has to be tomorrow, where the people of those states has to decide who they want their leader to be and who they want to be governed by. What is your expectation towards this election?
Knowing Edo State as it is, Edo has always been like this. I mean, for some years now, beginning from, even before then, it predates even the Oshomole election. But even from then, it has always been like that. Even when John Odige Oyegun, at least I was in Benin City at that period, when they were talking about the election that brought in John Odige Oyegun, I knew that the city would always be a kind of a place where there is so much tension. You know, and if you look as though people will die, but but the moment the thing starts, it is done, and immediately it's concluded, everybody goes his or her way. That's one thing I've noticed about it. There is this tension. There is this so much pressure all around. But one thing good is that they are careful. They are careful not to do things that will make them lose lives. But they will do everything. Talk about ballot boxing, snatching, talk about even shooting in the air, doing everything. But they even collect papers, ballot papers, and tear to shreds and scatter everywhere.
Apologies. Just hold it there. Let's quickly hear from this caller before we forge ahead. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
A very good morning to you. Glad to have you. Very well, thank you. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Yeah, my name is Dikin John.
Dikin John, please kindly calm down the volume of your TV set so I could hear you properly.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah, please, first and foremost, I want to talk on the flooding of Borno.
All right.
I don't know whether you can hear me.
All right, please go ahead. Sure.
Yeah. I want to sympathize with victims of that flood. We are with them. But what I want to let us know is that the government have not been proactive. They know that this flooding will come. And they didn't take any preventive measure because they know the rainy season will come, as widely said, and the dry season will come. But there's no measure that was put in place to checkmate the influx of the rain, no matter how heavy it's going to be. But now that it has happened, all the agencies are gearing up to do one thing or the other. But I'm assuring you that at the end of the day, all these monies that have been donated to the victims will not get to them. That's what happened in COVID in 2012. It will be looted. All this NEMA, SEMA, every agency is there in Borno looking for what they put in their pocket. At the end of the day, the victims will be at the settlement of it. I just pray that all these monies, all these relief packages will get to the victims. Because you can see the devastation in Borno. It is very, very devastating.
Exactly.
Our heart goes for them. But let the agencies do the right thing, what they are going to do.
All right.
Then, the Lagdo Dam, they have already warned before they release the water that some places are going to be flooded.
Please round up with your thoughts.
The government have not done anything.
All right.
You understand?
Yes.
Please, let the government be proactive and do what they're supposed to do in time so that we avoid all these disasters.
All right.
Prevention is better than cure, as they used to tell us in the local parliament.
Yeah, thank you very much for your contribution, and have yourself a wonderful day ahead.
You're welcome.
Let's quickly hear from this. We have another caller here who would want to give in. Good morning.
Good morning, my sister. My name is Mazdi Okorafo.
Mazdi Okorafo. Glad to have you join us.
From our Shukwu in Abia State, Gospel State.
Mazi, please go ahead with your thoughts.
If you look at all the national dailies, they're talking about the EDO. You see, if they do, is something that I will advise both INEC, federal government, and the state to do the needful.
Okay.
One of the major problems Nigeria is having today is voters apathy. If they do the needful, many will come out and vote.
All right.
But if they try that early morning of Abracadabra, of gunshot of Abracadabra, that is the pandemonium, different angles, it will be a problem. And social media, boys and girls who are good in social media, they should be very, very careful.
All right.
Because most of these problems we encounter in Nigeria, the social media are now the journalists we have to show the whole world, not only Nigeria. Because there are some stories before even their own network carrying to the network. Social media have told us what is happening everywhere. So I would advise those people that are good in social media news to be very, very careful. And the voice, I guess, ladies and gentlemen, men and women, come out and vote. And vote for candidates of their own choice. Don't collect 10,000 or 5,000 or 2,000 naira to vote. You are mortgaging your conscience for 4 good years. You have seen, now at least, Edo is one of the first states that started paying 70,000 naira. And they say they have free transportation system now.
All right.
Fine and good. The devil you see is the one that's better for you than the one you have not seen. But like Francis said, when they ask him, how do you see the American election going on?
All right.
I say there are two evils. The side within one, the left, there are two evils. That means lesser evil. Look for the lesser evil and pick. So
All right.
there's people going there now, look for the lesser evil and put more in.
Mazi Okorafor, have yourself a wonderful day and thank you for your contribution.
Have a pleasant and peaceful weekend.
And you too. Thank you and have yourself a wonderful weekend. Let me say something. If you look at this Edo election, you could see the struggle between the APC and PDP particularly.
Yes.
And now our caller just said that our people should be conscious of who they vote for. Do you think, and I was coming and I have that thousands of police men has been sent to Edo to in regards to the coming election. Do you think we should expect a peaceful election?
I know that I believe that it will still end peacefully, but there are places known as flashpoints. So if I were the police, I would concentrate more on those flashpoint areas and not forgetting the others anyway, but do more, much more serious work on those flashpoint areas and make sure that everything works out well. And you know, the police and the INEC, they have points to prove because the other party was asking for, PDP was saying that the police commissioner should be removed and all that. And so if he stays there and they are working, the IG, they even, I remember the governor talking about the IG not doing anything concerning their requests. Though yesterday we heard that the people had been released, but then let's see. So let's hope that they would prove their sincerity with this election and be honest to do their work well.
All right.
And INEC, as always, should also be careful not to turn it to something else, that at the end of the day, it's not the true result that will be announced.
All right, let's quickly hear from this caller before we move on. A very good morning to you. Your name and where you're calling us from.
Yes, my name is Emmanuel Okoro. I'm calling from Kaduna.
Emmanuel Okoro from Kaduna. Please kindly turn down the volume of your TV set.
Yes, it's done already.
All right, thank you. Please go ahead with your thoughts.
Okay, so I want to talk about the Edo election.
Okay.
You see, there's one thing I want INEC should know at this point in time, not just in Nigeria, but all over the world. All eyes are on INEC. You know, now, you see, this election is going to determine a lot of things. It's going to determine if Nigeria should still have trust
in INEC or not. Because you know the last election was a fiasco. So now we are expecting a lot from INEC. All eyes is on INEC. So you know there's been a lot of red flags already for the past few days now coming about this EDO election. So we want INEC to be very careful with the way they handle this election. You know, this election is going to determine if we will trust them or not.
All right.
So God bless you. That's my statement.
Bless you too, and have yourself a wonderful day.
Yeah, that's why I said that INEC should be very
so
careful.
He said all eyes on INEC.
INEC, yeah.
But
and this is what whether people will trust them or not.
Over the times, they feel okay. The caller just said that so a lot before now. In the past, things has happened that even citizens no longer rely on INEC. They no longer trust on INEC. So are you convinced that INEC is going to be neutral and sincere this time around? But before you take that question, I would like to hear from this caller. A very good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Glad to have you join us on the press. Your name and where you're calling us from?
My name is Mohammed. I called back from Maiduguri.
Mohammed from Maiduguri. Please go ahead with your thoughts.
Not issue. I suggested that the money gathered or contributed by various donations should be confirmed to the public that these money are genuinely here or is a political statement, because we have witnessed so many things in the past, especially in Borno, where some NGOs would house huge amount of donations. The present vice president, he was a governor, he complained bitterly that why should we be crying amount of how we are not seeing it. People are, things of that nature is about to happen. You see, politicians are very wonderful. They will go to the gathering and announce something. You in the media house will hear it, we in the public will start praying for them. Whereas to redeem those pledges becomes another problem. So, in order to be on a straight path, I want journalists to monitor if this money actually being pledged. Yes, let us be able without focusing on what are they going to do with the money, how are they going to help the society. This is another thing we should focus on.
All right.
One-sided. If you are looking at the other direction, Nigeria is a very funny country. You can, in your newspaper headline, we've seen so many funny stories.
Thank you. Please round up with your thoughts. The line is already breaking. About your contribution is noted, and thank you very much for joining us on the show this morning.
The truth is, what has to do with these donations, these are just in the interim. You see, the main point is that the government should do something permanent to ensure that this thing stops entirely. Because tomorrow some people would want to donate and they will make pledges. If by any means they are not able to meet up with what they had in mind with which to donate, I mean, you don't kill them. It was a pledge.
It was a pledge and you don't kill them. Yes. I think I love that part, but let me quickly hear from this caller. Good morning.
Hello?
Hello, good morning. Good morning. Glad to have you join us. Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Taraba State.
All right, your name, please.
My name is William Garba.
William Gariba from Taraba. Please go ahead with your thoughts.
Yes. With the two elections so far conducted by the INEC, we the people of this country, we lost hope on INEC. It seems to us that the number one citizen of this country is the chairman of the INEC himself. He has the final say. We are appealing to the INEC. Please and please, we the youth, we are tired. The upcoming election, they should conduct free and fair elections.
All right.
If not, we the youth may carry the law into our hands. It's better let them do the right thing so that we will have peace in the country.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, and please don't take laws into your hands. But thank you for your contribution.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I won't blame the young man, but all the same, just as you told him,
yes, you shouldn't take laws into your hands.
There are other means through which you can sort things out.
Exactly.
So when someone knows and is sure that he is the one that won in an election, and the person that was beaten becomes the one preferred by INEC, and the INEC presents the fellow, the one that is sure that he won should take the normal route of going to the court with things that he will use as proof, if he has proof. Because one thing about going to the court is that if there is no proof, then there is no winning.
All right, let me ask something. Over the times, do you think that Nigerians still have confidence in INEC to conduct a free and fair election in Nigeria? Aside the EDO poll that will be happening tomorrow, do you think that the Nigerian masses are still confident in INEC to conduct a free and fair election?
It's not a matter of confidence like this time. It's a matter of responsibility.
Because just like the last caller said, INEC happens to be, as it stands, INEC happens to be the chairman of INEC.
Citizen.
They seem to be the #1 citizen, and like the overall say, whatever they announce is what happens. So, do you think people are still confident in INEC to conduct free and fair election?
Some people just said if they don't do well this time, that they will lose confidence in them. And definitely, I must be honest with you, many people don't have that confidence any longer.
And why do you think there is?
Because we were told that when you use beavers, that everything is okay. That was what was used in the last presidential election. Yes. And things didn't get to be okay. And so we hope there will not be any glitch. Because one thing about this country is that when one major thing happens, one grammar comes up, comes up, and that's the one that will be on for a while. So glitch or glitches, as the case may be, that's what we've been hearing about these election things. I hope we will not be told that there are glitches that made the beavers not to work again in Benin City or in Benin in Edo State. And as a result, so if it doesn't work, what next? That's the question. And we'll be told that okay, if it doesn't work, that it will be that all that was put in it will be stored there. Whenever it starts working, they will bring it out. But in the past, when the whole thing was stored there, they were not used. They didn't even wait for it to be okay, and they announced whatever they announced. So may they be careful this time. If they do it again, they are only making Nigerians. You know, this voter apathy thing is from here. If it happens again, people would not bother to vote again.
Exactly.
Since you said that when we use electronic voting, it will be okay. Now we have started using electronic voting. You are even making it worse than we were having before now.
All right, thank you very much, Okechukwu Onugbogu, for joining me in the studio this morning. I really do appreciate your presence. And for the sake of time, this is where we'll draw the curtain on today's show. Thank you very much for joining us on the press. But before I leave the studio, let me say one thing to the INEC chairman and of course the independent body as a whole. This is at the point where Nigerians are looking up to you to be fair and free with this particular election. People will be going out to decide who they want to be governed by, and the best you can do for these masses is to be fair with your result and free and allow a free and fair election. And for those who will be voting tomorrow, please do make sure you allow peace in your polling units. There should not be any form of violence, and please desist from any form of violence during the voting section. Thank you very much for joining us, and have yourself a very wonderful weekend. I am Missy Emelite. Keep watching KAFTAN television. Bye for now.